In this video, I want to talk with you about becoming a Udemy promotional animal. Now, by necessity, this is going to be a two-part presentation because I'm going to discuss what I'm going to do next month. And next month, I think, is going to blow the lid off my promotional revenue. Now, the plan is that if I either artificially or legitimately, however you would categorize it, jack up my promotional revenue, that Udemy will notice I'm making a lot of money and they're not. So they'll start adding to the ad program for my courses and my ad revenue will go up. Now, if my revenue goes up, that's one of the top criteria in determining search result ranking. So if my revenue goes up, then my organic revenue should go up. Now, if my promotional ad program and organic revenue go up, affiliate marketers will start noticing it and that will go up. So here's the theory. Jack up any one of the four criteria: promotional, ad revenue, organic, or affiliate, and the others will respond in kind. Now, I've come upon a strategy where I could potentially increase my already substantial promotional revenue on Udemy by 2.5 times. Let's take a look at some of the data. Take a moment to look at this chart. Tell me what your first impressions are. Okay, let me tell you what I think your first impressions are since you can't really tell me. I bet you're thinking, hey, Brian, neat chart, but what does it all mean? Well, one of the things that it means is that next month, in 28 days, I plan on sending 84 email campaigns resulting in 525,244 individual student promotional emails. Now, I want to do some analysis on this. How did this all start? I got curious. I'm sending promotional announcements to individual courses, and I'm trying to balance how many students or emails that results in. So I needed to know how many emails I had total. So what I did was I went out and got a list of all the reviews I'd ever had on Udemy. I downloaded it as a CSV file, and then I deleted all but the course name, and then I sorted it by unique. And that gave me the name of every one of my courses. I went through, I had 55 that had reviews, and it turns out that there are only 42 to which I can send promotional announcements, because I haven't moved them back and forth too many times between free and paid. And then I went through and I said, okay, for each course, that's right, I manually recorded this into a spreadsheet. How many students do you have? And then I did some calculations, and it turns out that if I send an email to each individual student, that would produce 525,244 emails. Now, here's the rub. I did an analysis once upon a time that told me that each of my students has an average of 2.5 of my courses. When I send an email in bulk, let's say I turn this into 2 emails a month. I send to all my courses once, and then I send to all my courses a second time. One of the big problems with that is that duplicates get removed. So this 525 actually is 2 times the number of students I've got. So if you take the about 260,000 and you say 2.5 courses per course, that means you got to divide it by or per student. You've got to divide it by 2.5 because of redundancy. So that means that if I send 2 emails in a month, one to half my course or one to all my courses, and then the second to all my courses, that produces 100,000 and 100,000 or 200,000 emails. And you'll say, wow, that's very good. I'd be happy with that. Most people don't have 42 Udemy courses out there. And I'm going to explain later in this little lecture how you can reduce this huge number of 42 down to as little as 2 courses. But first, we're talking about if I send 2 emails, I'm going to get 200,000 individual emails going. Now, this is going to be dramatically reduced because you have students that can opt out of receiving emails. You got students that won't open my emails. You got students that bought the course and never have any intention of having anything to do with Udemy. So in reality, maybe 2% of the recipients are doing anything, but that doesn't matter. What matters is whatever the percentage is that students are doing something with the emails I send them, I can send 2.5 times more emails and get 2.5 more times results if I send to each course individually and eliminate the removal of redundant students because I'm sending to multiple courses at the same time. Now, sending to an individual course, what I like to do is send an advertisement about an individual course. Why? Well, think about this. If I have a student who's been diligent enough and faithful enough to buy all 42 of my Udemy courses, and then I send 84 promotional emails for courses they already have, they receive 84 annoying promotional announcements per month. That's bad. I've actually had students complain about getting redundant promotional announcements. Now, there's a trick to this, and I'm about to go over to a Udemy promotional announcement in progress and show you the trick. Here we are in creating a promotional announcement. And what I want to point you to is this: exclude students who are enrolled in one of these courses. So one of the neat things about targeting a course with an advertisement for another course is that I can exclude the course here from receiving emails. For instance, let's say I'm producing a promotional email for my new Vela course. Well, let's select all courses here, all eligible. Okay, so we're going to pare this down to just one course. And actually, I was already there, so I didn't have to do this. So we're going to send to one course. And now what I can say is here, exclude any students who already have my Vela course. And then I can advertise about my Vela course. So the answer to your question, what happens to the student who's bought all my courses? They receive no emails because they own all my target courses. So this is the way that you can be aggressive. Advertise to individual courses, but don't drive people nuts with all kinds of promotional announcements for what they already have. Now, here's another way to look at the logic of this. I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that I use, and I recommend you create your own spreadsheet. Start thinking about it, and I can, if this becomes popular enough, I'll get you the source to my spreadsheet in Excel, and you can create your own off of it. Here's what I've got: 42 Udemy courses. And I went and I calculated the number of students. Now, the other thing that I did was I grouped them. So notice the number of groups: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a week's worth, right? And then there are 6 in each one of these groups. Well, that means, Over 28 days, I can send 3 emails or campaigns. I can send 3 promotional emails per day. So how do I spread this out? So that's where I came up with these numbers here. I went, okay, what about if on day 1, I sent a promotional announcement to my GIMP course, and then I moved to the next category, and I said, what about the graphics course? And then I'm going to send one to the self-publishing course. And one of them is going to be about the most popular course in that group. So this is the way to target. I'm targeting a course in a group. So these are all GIMP courses. So I say, hey, GIMP course, here's the most popular GIMP course. You ought to buy this. And I exclude them from receiving it if they've already bought that course. So I'm saying legitimately to them, you're in this GIMP group. You should own this GIMP course. And if you don't, I'm going to send you an email. How is that to handle each email? Specific to a group. If you don't own this specific course, I'm going to send you an email. If you do, I won't bother you. This is the way I like to run emails. And that's how I'm going to come up with 42 different courses to which I can send 2 emails, or 84 individual emails for 525,244 emails to students. Now, cut way back. Remember what I talked about when we were talking in sending to multiple courses? You're going to have students that never open your email. You're going to have students that have opted out of receiving announcements, all of these things. So this 525,000, which sounds intimidating and overly aggressive, is probably going to be weeded down to maybe 50,000. We're probably going to do maybe 1/10. And then we're going to further weed it down by saying, if you own the course that we're advertising, we're not going to target you. So it's a highly aggressive, highly targeted, but controlled way of doing promotional announcements. And that's what I really like about it. It shouldn't generate a lot of student requests or complaints, but I'll tell you what it generates after I've tried running through it. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is that there are other criteria. So I can eliminate from receiving an email, a promotional email, students that already own a particular course. I can also say start date. Now, if I was really diligent, I would go month by month. I'd go, okay, so starting June 1st through June 30th. That's the people that I want to target. So I'm going to start a brand new month of targeting students. I won't bug everybody that I've bugged before. So you can do that with start date and end date. I could say, well, there's really no need to bug students that haven't even tried the course. They're just collectors. So I could eliminate not started. But right now, what I like to do, I haven't played with start date, end date, and the percentage complete. I have almost constantly used this technique, sending a promotion about a specific course and then excluding students from receiving it that already own that course. One of the things I almost forgot to comment on before ending this lecture is educational announcements. You get twice as many educational announcements as you do promotional announcements per month. Now, if you look at this spreadsheet, one of the things I want to point out is these criteria for constraining promotional emails. So already own a course, start date, end date, percentage completed, can be applied to educational announcements. Now, I keep thinking there could be some interesting games that you play with educational announcements based on percentage complete, but I'm not there yet, ready to talk about that. What I do want to show you is this number down at the bottom of my spreadsheet. What is this 1,575,732? if I send promotional emails to individual courses and my twice as many educational announcements to individual courses, I can generate 1,575,732 emails in a month. Now, I think that's too many, but let me tell you about what I am going to do. I am going to send one educational email to all my courses like every Monday. So I'm going to do it 4 times a month. Now you think, okay, there's a massive redundancy and stuff, so I'm only down to 100,000 per. But add that on to my 500,000. You're talking about the next month, I plan on generating 925,244 emails. That should get some stuff hopping. Now let's talk about educational emails. They need to be educational. So include some educational content. What I'm thinking is the problem that I've got is I've got 6 different categories of interests. How do I send a single email to all 6? I don't want to write 6 different educational announcements. 4 times a month, that would be 24 of them. I'm not going to do it. So I need to write one. So I need to have sections where I talk about stuff for self-publishing. Here's some self-publishing tips. Here's some graphics tips. Here's some Udemy course creation tips. So I'm going to create multiple tips, but 2 of the reasons to send educational announcements is, one, I can talk about projects I'm working on, upcoming paid for courses without promoting them. I just talk about that I'm working on them. And I can plead for reviews. The other big thing that you need is lots of reviews and quality reviews to rank well in Udemy search results. So I'm going to use educational announcements to kind of pave the way for upcoming courses and to plead for reviews. Now, I can't talk about the quality of the review I'd like. That's illegal. But I can in an okay, here's what the rules are. As an aside, I can ask students for review. Now, what does as an aside mean? That means that the primary focus of the educational announcement is educational material, and at the very end, I tack on a few sentences about, please leave a review for one of my courses. It works. I recommend you do it, and I recommend you use educational announcements. So next month, 925,244 announcements. If it's too much for my student community, I can always jack things back by what? Combining courses and reducing email through redundancy elimination, my enemy. And I hope that explains at least one small step in becoming a Udemy promotional animal. There's a lot of stuff you have to know. I've been learning it over the years, and in the next few months, I plan on relating it to you. Keep tuned in.